What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering UFC Fight Night 222, Sandhagen versus Landwehr. This is a pretty hype fight night. Everyone's been looking forward to it for a while now, especially since it got canceled originally. And just one last thing, if you guys could do me a favor and subscribe if you fuck with the content. I've been grinding. A sub and a like really helps push me to the top of YouTube's algorithm. Let's get right into it. First fight of the night at 125 pounds, Victor Altimirano taking on Vinicius Salvador. I'm going to go over with Vinicius Salvador. He has a couple more losses than Victor Altimirano, but his losses are to a lot better fighters, and his wins lately have been a lot more impressive than any of Victor Altimirano's. I think Victor Altimirano is coming off of a win now, or like a loss and a win and a loss, something along those lines. And Salvador is coming off of 3 or 4 wins back to back, so he's definitely back on a climb. I just feel like the people that Victor Altimirano has lost to is not anywhere near the level of fighter that Vinicius Salvador has lost to. I believe his last loss came to Andrea, who almost just subbed Muhammad Mokaev, so easy pick for me. Moving up the card, we got CJ Vergara taking on Daniel Da Silva. This is one that I'm not confident in at all, but I'm going to pick CJ Vergara. Again, for kind of the similar reason I just picked Vinicius Salvador against Victor Altimirano. I feel like he's lost to better fighters and beaten slightly better fighters than what I've seen with Daniel Da Silva. Daniel Da Silva, I believe, got fucked up by both Victor Altimirano and Vinicius Salvador, and a couple other fighters in that weight class that you see often on these fight night cards. So I just don't trust him. I feel like he gets finished way too often. He definitely seems like he's the slicker striker, but I don't think he has the gas take in the grappling. So I'm going to go with CJ Vergara. Moving up the card in the 170-pound division, we got Trevin Giles taking on Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons is coming off of a win over Evan Elder, and then before that, he got knocked the fuck out by D-Rod. Yeah, D-Rod. That was a good showing for him, but D-Rod was piecing him up. And I feel like Trevin Giles is going to do the same. He's a longer, rangier boxer type of fighter who has a severe weakness to grappling, I must say. So if Preston Parsons can get him down, this might be trouble, but I feel like I'm going to have to trust Trevin Giles to just piece him up on the feet and probably even finish him. Next up the card in the 145-pound division, we've got Steven Peterson taking on Lucas Alexander. I'm going with Lucas Alexander. Steven Peterson, he's oddly enough not very old, but he has a lot of mileage on him. He's like 31, 32, so prime years, but he's not that great. I'm going to just keep it a stack, keep it a hundy with y'all. Pick Lucas Alexander, young up-and-coming prospect, has a couple losses, but I think that he's past that, and if they can move him up the ladder efficiently in the UFC without feeding him to just straight killers right away, he actually might be able to become somewhat of a good fighter in that division. Now for the prelim main event, prelim headliner, Daniel Pineda taking on Tucker Lutz. Daniel Pineda is, I think, 38 now, coming off of a lot of no contests and losses and just odd fights. Tucker Lutz, on the other hand, 12-2. He's lost in his first fight of his career, and he lost in his last fight by a decision. But other than that, perfect all the way through. Strong grappling base. He's built just like Eric Anders. I swear to God, that middleweight Eric Anders, look at Eric Anders' body, and then look at Tucker Lutz. Why are they built like that? I don't really know. It must do something for them, though. I'm going to go with Tucker Lutz. On to the main card now. Starting off in the 185-pound division, we got Chito Njokuani taking on Albert Duraev. I've seen a lot of people picking Chito, and I get it. He's really good at landing those knees up the middle, stopping wrestlers. He puts some insane damage on people. Lickety split. But I just trust Albert Duraev, man. Like, I knew he was going to lose to Joaquin Buckley for some reason. I just had a feeling the way their builds stack up against each other and styles, it's going to be tough for him to wrestle cuck Joaquin Buckley. I don't think it'll be as hard for Chito Njokuani, though. Maybe the first round will be, but I trust Albert Duraev to eventually ground him, maybe even finish him with a choke or some ground and pound, but I see a decision being more likely, 2 rounds to 1, maybe even 3-0, just dominating. I'm going to go Albert Duraev. On into the flyweight division, we've got Alex Perez, former flyweight title challenger, taking on Manel Kape. This is probably the fight that I am the most back and forth with my head on the entire card, because Alex Perez is really fucking good when he's on. But his last 2 fights, he got caught in the first round, first minute and a half with subs, and almost the same sub both times. So the reason I am still wanting to pick him, though, is because he's not fighting a grappler. He's fighting Manel Kape. Manelius Capelius. who's solid, definitely a better striker, definitely quicker, definitely more diverse on the feet, but he's not as well-rounded overall in his game plan. I feel like this is an underdog pick, even though it's probably not, but I'm going to go with Manel Kape. I feel like Manelius Capelius could get it done. I'm just going to trust him, and if he doesn't on fight night, I'm going to be salty, man. But it is what it is. This is the game we play. Now into the flyweight division, women's flyweight, Andrea Lee taking on Maycee Barber. I'm going with Maycee Barber by decision, 2 rounds to 1. Not saying much more on that. Nate Landwehr versus Austin Lingo, feature fight of the card. I'm going with Nate the Train. Come on, baby. You just see his last fight against David Onama. He got dropped like 3 fucking times, hurt, rocked all over the place, and he still came out, grinded out a decision win. It was pretty fun to watch, I'm not going to lie. I love watching people get broken down with pace and pressure. And if you're on the train tracks, then Nate the Train's going to run you over. So I'm going with Nate. Now, into the bantamweight division. Former champion Holly Holm taking on Yana Santos, Thiago Santos' newly wedded wife. Another easy one for me, I feel like. Holly Holm. I mean, I shouldn't say easy because these women fights have been getting increasingly more difficult to predict as the years gone on. And I'm doing worse and worse. But I think I'm going to turn it around with this card. I'm going with Holly Holm by a decision. I just don't see Yana Santos having anything for Holly on the feet or in the grappling department or in the clinch. Literally anywhere. Now main event time. The fight everybody's been waiting for fucking months. Chito Vera taking on Cory Sandhagen. Bantamweight rankings are all whack right now. Merab's at 1 for some reason. Sean O'Malley's at 2. Chito's at 3. Petr Yan at 4. Cory at 5. I think Chito should be above Sean. He literally beat him already. Doesn't matter that he didn't beat Petr Yan. He beat Sean and he's beaten better bantamweights. Like, come on, bruh. I don't understand that shit. I also don't understand Merab being above Sean. Like, maybe because it was a more dominant victory against Petr Yan, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'll give him that. But on to the fight. I think Cory Sandhagen is going to embarrass Chito. I really think that a lot of fans are going to open their eyes to just how good Cory is and how defensively weak Chito is. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say defensively weak. He's good defensively. He has the right skill. He knows where to put his hands at the right moments, when to do this, that, yada, yada, yada. But he takes a lot of shots. And he does it banking on the fact that he can just power through them and then come out with a finish on the end, which he usually does. But you're fighting Cory Sandhagen, who is next level in the cage. Like, I'd put him up there, top 5 MMA IQ with people like John Jones. Like, I seriously would. I think Cory is that good, even though we haven't seen too much from him yet. I really think that he's going to embarrass Chito. I think he's going to win a dominant decision. Maybe 4 rounds to 1, honestly. I'm not going to keep much more of your guys' time. If you guys fuck with the content, give me a sub, give me a like. I love you. Goodbye.